Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to Diary of a Cocaine Addict. This is the podcast that is real talk, hosted by yours truly. So, those of you that are new to my world, welcome. I'm Sarah. I am the recovery witch. I am a year clean from cocaine addiction, actually 13 months. Almost 14 months. Wow. Almost 14 months clean from cocaine addiction, which robbed me of basically my whole adult life. I'm now a recovery coach working with others who are thinking about quitting, working with others who have quit and want to rebuild their lives. And I also have another business, but we're not going to go into that right now. Suffice it to say that I have been recovering out loud for as long as I've been in recovery, using social media, using whatever means that I can to share messages of hope and inspiration and to provide resources and content that will help you to get on track, to stay on track, and to see what's absolutely possible when you decide that that's it, you're done, and it's time to change your life. Now, today, I wanted to talk about staying in your own lane. Now, this is a phrase that I borrowed from the lovely Neetha Uren of the Recovery Coach Academy, who I do all of my training with, and who I absolutely love. And they commonly use this expression, stay in your own lane, right? What does it mean? What does it mean? So, when we're talking about staying in our own lane, we are talking about only taking on the things or engaging with the things that are actually in our remit. Right. So, an example of this, like in recovery coaching, might be for me, I don't know, if somebody comes to me and says, I'm really heavily addicted to opiates and heroin, and I don't know how to get off of it. Can you help me? Well, that's not my lane, right? Because they probably need medical intervention. They may need some sort of talking therapy. That's not my field. That's not my lane, right? Where if somebody else comes to me and says, hey, do you know what? I've been doing coke on the quiet. I really want to stop, but I don't know how. Yes, that's my lane. If somebody says to me, do you know, I've wrecked my life through addiction, but I've been clean for like a year and I don't know who I am anymore. And I don't know what I want to do in my life. Yes, that's my lane, right? You start to see where I'm going with this. Okay. So staying in your own lane isn't just about choosing, what tasks you will and won't take on in work, although that's very freaking important, but also about boundaries, right? And this is critical that we are able to have boundaries when we're in recovery and when you're not in recovery, for crying out loud. Like, every person needs boundaries of some description, right? Because otherwise what happens is we use this finite amount of energy that we've got every single day to fill up a whole bunch of buckets, which is pleasing everybody else. And little old you at the end of it has no energy, no motivation, no results, because you've been busy getting results for everybody else. You've done Mrs. Miggins shopping. You've gone and picked up your child from nursery. You've popped in the chemist to pick up your mum's prescription. You've done all of the things that you've been asked to do, but none of them have filled up your own cup, right? None of them have been things that are just for you. And this is when we start to run into problems, in my experience. Okay. So I really wanted to talk a bit around this today because there's a bunch of stuff tied up in one on this topic, right? So I'm going to do my best not to go too far off of what I'm trying to talk about. I can't promise that will achieve that. I like a chat, as you know. Falling over my words today. I'm tired. I'm sorry. Okay, but I'm hoping that you get what I'm on about. So if you are listening live, go ahead and engage with this broadcast, in the comments or whatever. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and ask me. I'm absolutely an open book. If you want to drop me a private message, please do go ahead and do so. You'll find me across all social media platforms as the Recovery Witch. If you prefer to pop me an email, you're very welcome to do so as well. It's the recoverywitch2911 at gmail.com. So as I say, one of my leading things here is to be absolutely accessible to you. My audience, my listeners, my people, right? That's why I'm doing this. It's for you. It's for you as much as it's for me, right? On the back of that, I do actually have my affirmation card deck with me today. So those of you that follow me regularly will know I'm a spiritual mama, hence the Recovery Witch. So I have this wee card deck here. It is the Spirit Junkie deck by Gabrielle Bernstein. So if anyone's listening live and wants me to pull them a card, then I will absolutely do so. So Steve is asking me for my email address. It is therecoverywitch2911@gmail.com. Sorry, I can't type and speak. That is just beyond the realms of what I can cope with in this moment. Okay, so stay in your own lane, right? Why has this come up for me this week? Well, let me tell you. So I have been living with my mum now since I came back from abroad, where I was working in summer 2017. Okay, so we are now 5 years later almost. I had no idea that I was going to still be with my mum 5 years later. I was planning to go back out to Menorca and rep again the following summer, but I fell pregnant with my gorgeous little boy, which totally was unplanned. And, I'm not going to go into the whole story of that here. It's everywhere on social media. Go ahead and find it or message me and I will share more of that with you. Today, I'm staying in the lane of talking about boundaries. So with living with my mum comes some, what shall we say? I don't want to say restrictions, although they are restrictions. Comes some, I don't know what the word is. Okay, insert your own word, right? Basically, it means I have to be the person that she thinks that I should be. Okay. I have to use language that she approves of. I have to do tasks that fit onto the criteria list of things that Sarah should or shouldn't be working on. I have to work X amount of hours per day in order to be doing a proper job. I have to, dress my son a certain way in order to be a responsible mother, and so on and so on. Now, listen, please don't get this twisted. This is not a show where I'm just going to be like bad mouthing my mum. She's my mum. I freaking love her to bits, and I'm ever so grateful to her for, having me here. Like, the carnage I've caused in my life, and she lets me live here with my son, which is her grandson. And in the main, we're really, really happy. However, there are some things that make me feel like I'm back to being a teenager again. So those of you that are not far out of being a teenager, you'll remember it very well. And those of you that are more like my age, which is, 40 plus, it's still fresh in my mind because I'm living it every day, right? For example, if I were to smoke a cigarette, that would be like, all hell would break loose. And I'm like, I'm 40 years old. Thank you very much. I will make my own decisions. So these are the kind of things that I'm talking about here today, right? Because as I have been in recovery, I have evolved massively, like spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, all of the things. Like, I'm a completely different person from the person that I was when I was in my party girl heyday, right? And I'm sure lots of you will resonate. If you're in recovery too, the person that you are now is almost unrecognizable or completely unrecognizable from the person that you have been, yeah? And it's been a journey, and it continues to be a journey. Now, I didn't get clean simply to be a people pleaser. I didn't get clean for somebody else to tell me who the fuck I am, right? I didn't get clean to be told you can do this and you can't do that, right? So an example of this is my using the title, The Recovery Witch, right? There's been a massive fallout amongst my family about this. My brother has completely disowned me, in fact, right? Because he doesn't like it. Okay, I get that, right? The term witch is highly loaded, right? But essentially, it's born from misunderstanding, is my own perception. I'm not opening up a conversation about that here. If you want to talk to me about it, you can do, but I'm simply sharing with you why I'm talking about staying in your own lane and about being the person that you were born to be, which is not somebody that everybody else thinks you should be, right? So my brother, for example, in this instance, has this idea of who I should be, how I should refer to myself, what that means for Chase, this is my son, if I use this title, and so on and so on. And I'm just like, hang on, right? I've wasted so many years of my life through drug taking, through partying, through poor decision making, yeah. And I'm at my peak now, right? I'm in the best condition that I ever have been in my adult life. And I am not giving that away to somebody else telling me how I can refer to myself. Ain't happening, right? The thing is, it's a hard one to balance out, right? Because we want to keep our family happy, yeah? We want their approval. We want their approval. We want their love. And it's not just our family, it's our friends, it's our, co-workers, it's the people that are in our circle, basically. Yeah. We seek approval and validation from those that are around us. We're human. However, when we do that, we essentially give our power away, right? And what I mean by that is that you are a unique being, right? The gifts that you have got, the personality traits that you have got, the character that you have got has been given to you because it forms a part of the whole that is intrinsic. Okay. Like without you, the world would not be the same, right? As you are, right as you are right now. Okay. So when we start bending to what other people think we should be or how we shouldn't be or what we should say, what we should wear, I don't know, maybe some of you have had a tattoo and your parents have gone berserk, even though you're like 40 years old. I haven't done that one yet. Maybe that'll be my next one. Right. I had piercings. My mum's like, yeah, let's have piercings. I'm like, sorry, I am the sole proprietor of this body. You don't get to tell me. Okay. And so it is a hard one because we are naturally built to want to keep people happy, to be connected, to be part of a tribe. Yeah. But when we do that, we start to diminish who we truly are at our core. Now, for me, using the witch example again, right? For the first 6 months of this year, I really struggled with it because I knew this was something that I was aligning to, this branding, this audience, this world, right? And I knew my family were going to completely reject it. I knew that without a question of a doubt. In fact, I expected my mum to throw me out. She didn't, bless her. Okay, she didn't, but she really struggles with this, yeah? And don't I know it? And so those first 6 months of the year, I could feel myself getting more and more and more anxiety ridden. And it wasn't anxiety in the terms of the medical condition, I could feel myself getting wound up tighter and tighter and tighter like a spring, and it just needs to go, right? And I could feel that I was suppressing who I truly am. I could feel my wings being clipped. I'm a Sagittarian. I'm a fire sign, right? I don't do having my wings clipped, right? It doesn't work for me. Yeah, I'm a free spirit. I have to be who I'm meant to be. And what I realized eventually was that the more and more that I choose to not be who I am, the more and more that I'm diminishing what I came here to do. Right. And so it gets to a point from my perspective where you come to a fork in the road, yeah, where you say, okay, am I going to do me and be me no matter what? Or am I going to go to my deathbed knowing that everybody else is happy? Everybody else felt nice and safe with my choices, but I've never, ever known who I truly am. I've never, ever walked in the shoes of who I could have been. Yeah. And now I will never know because I'm about to draw my last breath. Is that going to be how your life ends? Right? Because behavior change absolutely is possible, right? It can be difficult to interrupt it. It can be difficult to change it, but it is possible, right? And the first step of that is to make a conscious commitment to not be that person that just says yes to everybody, to be that person that is, that is easily railroaded into doing the things that everybody else wants them to do. Society will have us believe a ton of stuff that we've got to be good girls. We've got to this and we've got to that in order to be accepted. Bullshit, right? Be who you are meant to be and you will set yourself free and addiction fades away, right? Addiction isn't who you are. It never was, right? And it's about separating yourself from that. So people pleasing, the way that I'm talking about people pleasing now, right, is when you are exhibiting an authentic pattern of behavior, right, that can involve a bunch of different traits. So, for example, consistently putting the needs of others before your own, right? Consistently putting somebody else's desires ahead of what it is that you want to do. Working hard to make other people comfortable at the expense of your own comfort. Telling people what they want to hear. This is huge. Telling people what they want to hear instead of what you actually really truly think, because you don't want to upset anybody, because you don't want to offend anyone, right? That doesn't serve any of us. Yeah. Say if you bought something from a friend, right? Say they had designed you a piece of jewelry, yeah? and they gave it to you, and you had paid for this thing, and they gave it to you, and you thought, actually, that's a bit shit. Like, I don't like this part of it, or I wish those stones were a different colour, yeah, or whatever. And you've paid 50 quid for this thing, yeah, and you're thinking to yourself, great, now I've paid 50 quid for something I'm not even going to wear, I don't even like, but I can't say to my friend, look, do you know, would you mind changing this design around a little bit? Would you mind exchanging that stone for that stone, or whatever it is, yeah? Because you don't want to upset her, you don't want to offend her. Well, now she's going to carry on making shit jewellery because you haven't told her, actually, do you know what, that design could have done with some tweaking. And so it doesn't serve her. You're not helping her, right? Yes, you're protecting her feelings, but in the long run, it doesn't serve her because she's not going to make as many sales as she could because you haven't told her from a customer perspective the truth, right? That was a rubbish example, but you get where I'm going with this, okay? So another example of people pleasing can be like engaging in activities that you don't want to do just because you want to be liked. Say a Friday night comes around, yeah, and your mates will go, come on, we're going down the boozer. Come on, we're going out on the lash. Yeah, you don't want to go. You're already at home in your PJs, right? Or you're working late, or you've got a night planned indoors with your partner or whatever. But because of the peer pressure, because they're all convincing you it's a good idea, because they're telling you, oh, don't be boring, yeah, you just agree to go just to shut them up. People pleasing, yeah? Say if you are deferring to others to make decisions that concern you because you're just making an effort to be in their favour. This is people pleasing, right? So it's tricky. It really is tricky because it can appear as generous and kind, but actually the reality is it's a negative coping skill in disguise, right? So the difference here between people pleasing and actual genuine, authentic generosity is in the motivation behind it. Yeah. People pleasing is motivated by lack. Please like me. I want you to be happy. Right. Where authentic generosity is motivated by abundance. Yeah. So this comes from a place of like, I really want to help you because I know that I can. Right. Not because I'm trying to be liked, not because I want to feel worthy, not because I want to feel like I've done something good for somebody. Yeah. Because I actually just have that love, right? So think of it this way. When you're emotionally thirsty and your self-worth is low, you're going to compromise your own comfort to fill your cup. Yeah. We bend and we twist and we accommodate to get approval, and to get attention and to get love, which is people pleasing, as we've spoken about, right? Where when we're emotionally full and our self-worth is high, we're not seeking to fill an empty cup, right? So there's no drive to please in order to get our needs met. And the abundance naturally spills over to others. And this is genuine, also authentic generosity. Okay. So we can get like, I don't know, it can be like drug taking. Yeah. We can get a rush of good feels when we do something for somebody, but highs don't last, do they? Yeah. And so that wears off and we're stuck with the consequences. A really good example of this is last Friday for me. Okay. So I walked Chase to nursery. This was like a 2-mile walk. I walked him to nursery and I stopped at the shops on the way because I needed to buy some bottled water for my friend's mum, who is 90 years old. Yeah. Took Chase to nursery. I went to this lady's house. She decided to give me a shopping list, right? I knew I didn't have time to do it. And she also wanted me to order her something online, which I didn't have the money to pay for in the bank. She gave me the money for it, but I needed to go to the bank in order to order the thing. She has family that live with her, okay? They could easily have done this for her. Yeah, I took the money. I walked myself my 2 miles home. I came on. I did my podcast. I then spent 2 hours coaching a new client, a new recovery coaching client. And then I was meant to have another call and I just couldn't. It was 2:30 in the afternoon by then. I hadn't eaten, I hadn't drunk, I was exhausted, I was drained, and I'd done all this running around. Okay. At which point I decided, okay, I'm going to have to go into town, pay the money into the bank. And while I'm there, I might as well do her shopping because I'm over the road from the place and take it back to her because it's right where I've got to go anyway to pick up Chase. I picked up my son. I came 2 miles back home again and I single mummed for the rest of the evening, right? By the time I went to bed, I was in bits. Yeah. I was so tired. I was so tired that I couldn't even, I'd spent the whole day wanting to journal. Yeah. I'd spent the whole day thinking, I can't wait for a bit of time to myself. 7:30, when Chase goes to bed, it's me time. Come 7:30, I literally was crying. I was just like, what is life? Like, I didn't figure in this day at all. I haven't even really eaten properly. I haven't even really drunk anywhere near enough water, right? There wasn't even time for that. And that, my friends, is people pleasing, okay? Because I've shown up all over the place for everybody else, but not for me. So when I'm running on empty, I'm not able to bring forth the best of myself. And the consequence of that was actually A, I made a mistake in my work, and B, it was rectifiable, don't worry. And B, I was so tired the next day. I was moody, I was irritable, I was snappy, and poor Chase was on the end of it. And it was all because I didn't put myself first, yeah? So it's these extracurricular things, doing the shopping, making the extra bus journey to go and pay that money into the bank, bringing the shopping back that day, yeah? All of this stuff is the people pleasing that I'm talking about. And I had a massive wake-up call Friday, right? We have got a choice, right? So the consequences of people pleasing can range like anywhere from never knowing where we really stand on things to being stuck in an unhealthy or unfulfilling relationship or career even. And it can lead to a sense of being lost or having no purpose, because when we are people pleasing, we're not in alignment with our authentic selves, right? Which again, just does not serve any of us. So the root of people pleasing can come from all sorts of places, right? I'm not going to go into all of that here, but ways to recover can be relatively straightforward if you're prepared to pay attention. Okay. So, first of all, raise your awareness to the behavior and accept it. All right. So we have to practice this, because sometimes our actions, our thinking, it's on default mode, right? We've done it so many times that we don't even have to have to think about it. Sorry, I'm just reading what's scrolling across the screen here. Got distracted. We don't even have to think about certain actions. Our brain puts them on autopilot, okay? And so people pleasing can fall into that category. Awareness and acceptance allow us to move through the struggle and to transcend them. So, okay, well, you can recognize in yourself, do you know what? Actually, I'm doing a lot for other people. Actually, my own self-esteem is at risk. Actually, my own energy is at risk. Actually, tasks that I need to do for myself or tasks that I'm being paid to do, they're not getting done, right? You've got awareness. And once you've got awareness, then you can start to address it. So for me, that looks like putting a schedule in place and just time blocking the hours and saying, okay, this time is for that client in my VA business. This time is for that client in my VA business. Here I'm doing my podcast. There is a day for me and Chase. Here is time off for me. Yeah. And so on and so on. And I just put everything in to my calendar, set it so that it recurs. Jobs are good. And I've actually managed to build in time off, which is awesome. Yeah. Previously, up till last Friday, I held the belief that I didn't have time. When I looked at my schedule, I realized I can easily take 3 or 4 hours off on a Tuesday. And it just requires us to become aware and to do something about it. Okay. So if you can identify like what the origin of the behavior is, that's going to help you. Okay. I'll give you a few quick examples. So, like growing up, feeling responsible for the happiness of, or comfort of others, that can lead to people pleasing behavior in later life. An unstable attachment to your caregiver, leading to feeling as if you have to perform to earn love. Like think how many times do we even say to our kids, oh, if you do this, be a good boy and then I'll get you a treat. Yeah. It makes the child feel like that they have to do something to be worthy of our love, right? And this leads to a people pleaser in adulthood, yeah? Fear of abandonment based on the absence or the death of a caregiver, that can lead us to people pleasing as well, right? That one in and of itself speaks for itself, yeah? So have a think, where did this behavior come from? Because then you can start to replace the old behaviors with new ones. And thinking about the past, God knows it can be super painful at times. If you need help with that, or the support from a mental health professional, a trauma expert, or whatever it is you need to do, go ahead and do it. Okay. The investment in time and money that you spend on yourself will never go without return. All right. So another step that you can take to recover from people pleasing is about doing the work to uncover and raise your own self-worth. Right? What does that even mean? Right? So it means filling your own cup. It means opening the door to finding your own authentic purpose. Who are you anyway? Right? Who do you want to be? What do you want to be? Right? without worrying about what other people think, what other people are going to say. A classic example of this is the witch thing, as I said, yeah, right? I was fearful as fuck of rejection. But at the end of the day, this is something that I've aligned with. So, come what may, this is who I am. Deal with it, right? If we can shift our focus from what we think other people are thinking and feeling, right, to what we are thinking and feeling, then we start to be less of a people pleaser and more kind of centered in ourselves, right? So we take the focus off of validation and approval and we shift it to ourselves and we validate and approve ourselves. My God, this is a game changer, right? It is a game changer. So if you can, a really quick hack for this one actually is that if you can just take a pause and ask yourself, is this what I really want? Or is it what I think will make others happy? Is it what I want? Or is it what I think will make others happy? Right? You're going to get some really good clues there. And then another way, the last thing really that I want to touch on today is about being able to own, identify, share how you really feel, your needs, your likes, your dislikes, in a way that is respectful, in a way that is authentic, and in a way that is true to you, right? So you have to be seen, you have to be heard. This is one of our basic human needs, yeah? And so allowing the people around you to understand who the real you is will help you to be accepted, which is essentially what we all want, right? But the real key comes from you accepting yourself. So one of my affirmations that I use regularly now is I love and accept myself, right? I love and accept myself. Yeah. So sometimes we can, automatically respond in people pleasing ways before we rein it in, before we catch ourselves. But that's okay. Okay. Don't make it mean anything about yourself. Right. So I hope that this has helped you in some way, shape, or form today, because I know people pleasing is like a massive freaking epidemic of it going on out there. And myself included. Yeah. I'm not immune to it. I'm human just like you. Right. But this is the learning that I've had this week. And it's really shown me the importance and the value in making time for myself and making sure that I am at my peak physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, because otherwise, how can I help others? How can I when I can't even help myself, right? And it's about as well leading by example for me, right? So in recovery, I just think this is so, so important for us to be able to recognize when we are being our real selves or when we're being ourself that we think everybody else wants us to be. Yeah. Because if you are somebody that's in recovery and you've got yourself clean, you've recovered from whatever it was that you were hooked on, yeah, that's a massive fucking thing. Did you really do all that just to be told who you can be? I don't think so somehow. Think about it. Okay. So one last thing that I want to close on, what I just found actually today was some affirmations I've written down. I did a video about this on TikTok a little while ago. I thought I'd just run through them here real quick before we go. Okay. So some affirmations that can really empower you and help you in recovery. Yeah. I choose what I become. I choose what I become. I am stronger than any storm, because you are, right? And if you're in recovery already, you freaking know that. I am stronger than any storm. Today, I stay clean or sober or whatever it is for you. Yeah. Today, I stay clean. I'm not talking about forever. I'm not talking about like an infinite amount of time. We're talking about today. We're talking about now. I stay clean, right? The better it gets, the better it gets. This is my all-time affirmation. All-time favorite affirmation ever, ever, ever. The better it gets, the better it gets. The first time I heard that, I was like, meh. But the more I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, the power of that is actually awesome, because it is so true. The better it gets, the better it gets, right? Really think about that one. Something amazing is about to happen. If you can repeat that to yourself on a loop, you're going to find that you notice more and more amazing stuff happening for you, around you, in your energy. You're going to notice it. Okay. Another really powerful affirmation. I got this. I got this. I got this. Breakable, unshakable, unstoppable. I got this. Simple. 3 words. Say them with me. I got this. Right. I have the courage to keep going. I have the courage to keep going. And this is huge, right? Because sometimes we don't keep everybody else happy. Sometimes we don't do the things that people want us to do or expect us to do or that society says we should do. I have the courage to keep going. Stay in your lane, okay? I love and accept myself, as I just said to you. I am in charge of how I feel today. I am in charge of how I feel today. Yeah? Nobody made me angry. Nobody upset me. I'm in charge of how I feel. All of my problems have solutions, right? Because that's so true. That's so true. And the less we look for them and allow them to surface from inside of us, the easier it is to freaking find them. Trust me on that one. Okay. So I'd love to know what you made of today's show, what you have loved about it, what you maybe didn't love about it. If you feel like that's what you want to share, that's cool. I'm open to it all. I'm here for all of it. If you are somebody who would like to connect with me, to explore more about what it's like to work with me, please do go ahead and do so. Okay, you can connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. My videos go up on YouTube as well, and also my email is therecoverywitch2911@gmail.com. Thank you ever so much to Steve and the Crossroads podcast team. You guys are amazing. Thank you for hosting me here. Much love, one and all. Adios.